Just give me 1 minute. We'll just start. All right. So just a quick recap of what we did last time. Uh, so in our last class discussion, we started with neurons, wherein we said neurons are nothing but uh, structural and functional unit of nervous tissue. We did types of neurons, myelinated versus non-myelinated neurons. We also did unipolar, bipolar, multipolar neurons. Then Hydra was having apolar neurons. But the last class was primarily dedicated to transmission of electrical impulse across an axon. Transmission of electrical impulse across an axon is basically by movement of sodium and potassium ions. When electrical impulse reaches a point A, sodium ion channels will open. When sodium channel ions open, sodium will enter the cell. When sodium enters the cell, what will happen? uh, the polarity will be reversed. The resting membrane potential is minus 70 millivolts. When sodium enters, it will become plus 30 millivolts. This process is called depolarization. Depolarization is immediately followed by repolarization of that point where sodium has entered. Now potassium will leave. So potassium channels will leave the cells. When potassium channel leaves the cells, they will further reduce the polarity, and from plus 30 it will go all the way to minus 70. Also potassium channels will continue to leave the cells, and it will drop all the way to minus 80 millivolts also. When that happens, sodium potassium pump will start working. This sodium potassium pump will throw 3 sodium out, and for every 3 sodium that it throws out, it will push 2 potassium inside, and it will bring the resting membrane ionic concentration back to normal. Yeah, this movement of depolarization, repolarization, hyperpolarization, and back to repolarization is called the action potential. The word action potential and electrical impulse is used synonymously. Yes. Now, for anything to be able to generate electrical impulse, they should be able to open sodium channels. The sodium channels which will open because of changes in potential difference or electricity will be called uh, voltage gated sodium channels. Then we were also doing the concept of synapse. So what is synapse? Synapse is a junction between two neurons. Uh, it is a place where two neurons will meet. The junction could be axonic, dendrodendronic, or axodendronic. Most common synapses are axodendronic. Axodendronic will have two ends, an axonic end and a dendronic end. Axonic end, also called presynaptic terminal, will have a telodendron with a swollen tip called synaptic bulb. Within the synaptic bulb, there are many vesicles. These vesicles will be filled with a fluid called neurotransmitters. Okay, so this is synaptic bulb and the presynaptic terminal. Then there is actually a microscopic gap. That microscopic gap is called synaptic cleft. That's around 20 nanometers in thickness. Okay, then following that, there is postsynaptic terminal, which is nothing but the dendron end. The postsynaptic terminal will have receptors for neurotransmitters. When the neurotransmitter sticks to the receptor, sodium channels will open. Yeah. Now, when action potential reaches the axon end, what happens is step number 1, calcium from outside will enter. It will combine with synaptic vesicles. It will undergo exocytosis. Exocytosis के वजह से the neurotransmitter will be released in the synaptic cleft. Once it is released in the synaptic cleft, it will bind to receptors on the postsynaptic membrane. When it binds on the postsynaptic membrane sodium channels will open. These sodium channels will be called ligand gated sodium channels. because they're opening when something is sticking to them. Now, the moment that happens, there will be a depolarization created. And then depolarization followed by repolarization will help in transmitting electrical impulse across the membrane. So we now say that the electricity has passed from the presynaptic terminal to the postsynaptic terminal. Yeah. Now, once the electricity has passed, there should be no mixing of impulses. That means if 2-3 impulses or 2-3 stimuli are coming back to back, उसके लिए अलग अलग बैच ऑफ न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर निकलेगा. इसका मतलब जो पुराना न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर है उसको डिस्ट्रॉय करना है. That is again destroyed by an enzyme. If the neurotransmitter is acetylcholine, okay, then it will if the neurotransmitter is acetylcholine, then it will be destroyed by the enzyme called choline esterase. Choline esterase enzyme breaks the ester bond in choline, acetylcholine. So acetylcholine will be rendered useless. Okay, this is what we have done in the last class. Some points as a follow through of the above chapters. Okay, above content. So first is, where is neurotransmitter produced? Okay, so where is neurotransmitter produced? Now remember, in axon there are no Nissls granules, there are no Golgi bodies, so things cannot be produced in the axon. So very important, neurotransmitters, children, are produced in the cyton. Okay, they are produced in the cyton and they will be covered in vacuole. So neurotransmitter will be covered in vacuole and they will form synaptic vesicles in the cyton. And these synaptic vesicles will migrate. It will migrate to the axon terminal. Yes, so these 3 points are important, that the neurotransmitter is not produced in the telodendria. It is produced in the cyton, main cell body, where it will get converted to synaptic vesicles. Then it will migrate to the axon end or axon terminal. Okay. Enzyme destroying neurotransmitter. Okay. Now I want all of you all in the chat box. I had asked you one question. The question was, what is the enzyme destroying neurotransmitter adrenaline? What enzyme destroys the neurotransmitter adrenaline? Very good. Very good. So I've got an answer from somebody from Panvel, number 13. So enzyme choline esterase will destroy the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. But some neurons have a different neurotransmitter. The name of the neurotransmitter is adrenaline. And your research question for the last class was that what is destroyed by who destroys adrenaline? So the answer is monoamine oxidase. So the name of the enzyme is monoamine oxidase. Monoamine oxidase enzyme. Now this enzyme destroying the neurotransmitter are also produced in the cytoplasm. They will form, the vesicles will be different. They won't be called synaptic vesicles. And they also migrate to the axon terminal. So the axon terminal has neurotransmitter also, and it has enzyme to destroy neurotransmitter also. Okay. So this is important. Please make a note of it. I will wait for about 30 seconds and then I'll move forward. Okay, so then we move on to the next concept here. Now, the next concept is, say suppose I have an axon, okay, and this is connected to 3 neurons like this. Yeah. Now I want electricity to pass through this, but I don't want electricity to pass through here. So suppose so this is one neuron, every line is one neuron. Okay, let's simplify this. So this is one neuron, this is another, this is third, this is fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. So neurons are all present in the form of a complex network. Now I want the electrical impulse to transmit from this neuron, then to transmit to this neuron, then to transmit to this neuron, then to transmit to this neuron, and then to transmit to this neuron. You understood? First go from here to here, here to here, here to here, here to here, and here to here. Okay. Now every time it is taking a turn, okay, there is a problem. So let me take any one turn. So I'm taking this one. Yes. So here, see what is happening is there is one here, there is one connection here, there is one connection here, there is one connection here. So I want electricity to go from here to here. I don't want electricity to go to this. I don't want electricity to go to this. Did we understand this? So there are many neuronal connections and they are very complicated. So at some places we don't want electricity to pass through a synapse. Now when we don't want electricity to pass through a synapse, there are special type of neurotransmitter there. Okay, so we have two types of neurotransmitters. The first type are called excitatory neurotransmitters. Okay, they are called excitatory neurotransmitters. And the second type is called inhibitory neurotransmitters. Excitatory neurotransmitters and inhibitory neurotransmitters. So अगर आगे जाना है तो भी सिनेप्स है और आगे नहीं जाना है इम्पल्स को तो भी सिनेप्स का स्ट्रक्चर रहेगा ही, सिर्फ न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स डिफरेंट रहेंगे. So what does an excitatory neurotransmitter do? It allows impulse to pass through the synapse. It allows impulse to pass through the synapse. An inhibitory neurotransmitter prevents impulse from passing through synapse. Prevents impulse from passing through synapse. So how does it do that? Okay, वो करता कैसे है? तो भले ही एक्साइटेटरी होने दो, इनहिबिटरी होने दो, जैसे ही एक्शन पोटेंशियल रीचेस, कैल्शियम विल एंटर, it will remove this vesicle, neurotransmitter will go out. Now this is the most critical part of it. That excitatory neurotransmitter, okay, combines with receptors on postsynaptic membrane, that means dendron. Yes, combined with receptor on postsynaptic membrane, and this is what it does. And it opens what channels? Sodium channels. It opens sodium channels. Inhibitory neurotransmitters also combine with postsynaptic membrane. It also combined with postsynaptic membrane, but instead of opening sodium channels, it opens chloride channels. Okay, so basically what it will do is it will open negative ions ka channel. So when negative ions enter, the inner surface will become more negative. And we have done this. When inner surface becomes more negative, that condition is called hyperpolarization. And when a membrane is hyperpolarized, new impulses cannot act there. It's also called the refractory period. So inhibitory neurotransmitters, children, inhibitory neurotransmitters will cause hyperpolarization by releasing chloride ions, and they will cause depolarization by opening sodium channels. So because they cause depolarization, impulse will pass through. Because they cause hyperpolarization, impulse, a new wave of electricity will not be generated. Please write this, is very, very important. Okay. Now most of the neurotransmitters are excitatory. For example, the neurotransmitters that we did was acetylcholine, then adrenaline. All these are excitatory neurotransmitters. They will allow impulses to pass through. ACH is acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is sometimes referred to as ACH, acetylcholine. Okay. Examples of inhibitory neurotransmitters. So examples of inhibitory neurotransmitters are examples of inhibitory neurotransmitter. If there is hyperpolarization, there is more negativity inside, means it will fall from minus 70 to minus 80. So when it falls from minus 70 to minus 80, you will have to have mechanisms to bring it back to minus 70. Okay. So depolarization starts an electrical impulse. Hyperpolarization will never start an electrical impulse, because to start an electrical impulse, inner negative minus 70 should become positive. Inhibitory neurotransmitters में बहुत सारे examples हैं. The commonest one is called GABA. GABA stands for gamma amino butyric acid. Gamma amino butyric acid. GABA is one. Then glycine is also a type of inhibitory neurotransmitter. Then we have something which causes calmness, dopamine. So GABA, glycine, dopamine are examples of inhibitory neurotransmitters. They don't allow electrical impulses to pass through. Okay. Now we have two types of, as we were discussing, we have two types of synapses. One is called electrical synapse. Yes. And the second category is called electrochemical synapse. Some people call it chemical synapse. That is slightly incorrect, because in chemical synapse we still need to have electricity. Okay. So in electrical and electrochemical synapse, what is the difference? Now in electrical synapse, children, the presynaptic membrane and the postsynaptic membrane are not different. Presynaptic membrane and postsynaptic membrane are similar. That means there is no difference in their structure. Whereas here, both are different. So presynaptic membrane will always have neurotransmitter. Postsynaptic membrane will have receptor for neurotransmitter. Because of this, the transmission of electrical synapses, the transmission would be from the presynaptic to postsynaptic, and it can also be from postsynaptic to presynaptic. So the transmission is bidirectional. And here the transmission is always unidirectional. That means it will always move from presynaptic membrane to postsynaptic membrane. There is no gap. Okay, the two membranes are touching each other. There is no gap. So there is no synaptic cleft. Here there is synaptic cleft. Yes, electrical synapses will not require any kind of a neurotransmitter. Here, because they have a gap, they need to be the electrical transmission will need the electrical impulse will need a neurotransmitter in electrochemical synapse. Okay. Now, in electrical synapses, there is no synaptic delay. Why there is no synaptic delay? The transmission is just like what we studied in the neuron. So the two neurons are there, they are touching each other. Because they are touching each other, there is no gap. So there won't be any delay in transmission. But if there is a gap, there is slight delay. What is that slight delay? What is going to be the slight delay? There will be some time required for the neurotransmitters to be released. Then the neurotransmitters will go and stick to the receptor. Yeah. So in electrochemical synapse, there is a very little time of delay, but there is synaptic delay. Now, if I keep on stimulating that neuron again and again, okay, if I keep on stimulating, so for every stimulus a new batch of neurotransmitter is released, and for the second a second batch, for the third batch. If I keep on doing that, after some time there will be no synaptic vesicles left. Okay, and when there is no synaptic vesicle left, if I give a stimulus, there won't be any electrical impulse. Okay, याद रखना, इलेक्ट्रोकेमिकल सिनेप्स के पास सिनेप्टिक बल्ब होता है, उसमें लिमिटेड न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर होता है ना. तो अगर मैं बार बार स्टिमुलस देते जाऊं, एक लेवल के बाद ऐसा होगा कि अंदर एक भी न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर नहीं बचेगा, बिकॉज सब वो सिनेप्टिक बल्ब से बाहर आ चुका है. और क्योंकि वो सिनेप्टिक बल्ब से बाहर आ चुका है, अंदर कुछ नहीं बचेगा. The synapse will not be able to transmit electrical impulse, and that is called synaptic fatigue. So this is called synaptic delay, this is called synaptic fatigue. Synaptic fatigue. In electrical synapses, there is no synaptic fatigue. अब ये synaptic fatigue is not permanent, it is temporary, because थोड़े टाइम के बाद साइटोन में जो न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर बन रहा है, वो साइटोन से नीचे की तरफ आएगा. जब वो वेसिकल्स वापस आ जाएंगे, सिनेप्स दोबारा से शुरू हो जाएगा. Okay, so if we are undergoing a synaptic fatigue, we won't be able to react. For example, ऐसा होता है ना कि अगर किसी ने बहुत जोर से कुछ मार खाया है, या ये बहुत बार मार खाया है, तो वो एरिया नम हो जाता है, सुन्न हो जाता है. वो नम क्यों हो जाता है? बिकॉज इतना फास्ट मारा, इतना सिनेप्टिक इम्पल्सेस निकाले हैं कि दैट एरिया नाउ हैज लॉस ऑफ सेंसेशंस देयर. Okay, so this is one of the examples that synaptic fatigue will occur. But ये न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर होने के सबसे बड़ा फायदा ये है कि अगर दो इम्पल्सेस बैक टू बैक आ भी रहे हैं, so there will never be any mixing of impulses. So there is no mixing of impulses. Whereas in electrical synapses, there will be mixing of impulses. So sometimes if there are electrical synapses, अगर back to back दो electrons आ जाएंगे, yes, अगर back to back दो impulses आ जाएंगे, या 4-10 impulse आ जाएंगे, तो electrical synapse उसमें शायद differentiate ना कर पाए. Now obviously the better is when there is no mixing of synapses. So electrical synapses are extremely rare. Okay, that's your research question for the next class. It's extremely rare. So 2 or 3 places only where electrical synapses are found. You have to, so please write this research question. We are going to discuss it in the next class. Research question. Electrical synapses. Where do we find electrical synapses? Where are we going to find electrical synapses? Electrochemical synapses are extremely common. In fact, majority of the synapses that we have in our body are electrochemical synapses with the neurotransmitters. चलो कुछ research questions please next class मुझे याद दिलाना, because हर बार just to remember, because we are taking a lot of batches, so आपको मैं कुछ research questions दे रहा हूँ. Okay, you have to tell me which was the first discovered neurotransmitter. Okay, you have to tell me which neurotransmitter was first discovered. Second research question जो आपको दे रहा हूँ वो है, which is the most abundant neurotransmitter in our body? Okay, most abundant neurotransmitter in our body. ठीक है. Third question जो अभी दिया, what are the sites of electrical synapses? So where am I going to find electrical synapses? Okay, research question. Please, you're going to do research, you're going to read about it, and we'll discuss in the next class. Okay. So somebody has asked a question which is relevant to the topic here. किसी ने लिखा है कि sir, does anesthesia destroy neurotransmitter? Now kids, anesthesia does not destroy neurotransmitter. The anesthetic medications which are given, they interfere with the neurotransmitters at places, or they surround the neurons so that their sodium potassium channels also may be blocked. So there are multiple methods by which different anesthesia medications will act, but basically they don't allow the neurons to work. They don't allow the transmission of impulses to occur. All right. Okay. Then we come to the concept of a nerve. Okay, we have completed neurons. We come to the concept of a nerve. Now, what is a nerve? Children, nerve is a collection of neurons. Collection of neurons are called nerves. Where will we get nerves? We get nerves in the peripheral nervous system and autonomic nervous system. We will never get nerves in central nervous system. Okay. So there are cranial nerves, there are spinal nerves, then there are sympathetic nerves, and then there are parasympathetic nerves. Okay, so we'll study about them in a while from now. Now say for example, these are 3 neurons that I have made. Okay, they are passing through and through your screen. मतलब we are looking at the neuron from the top. अगर हम ऊपर से देखेंगे तो न्यूरॉन ऐसा सर्कल दिखेगा. Okay, and say I have 3 more neurons here, and say I'm just having 3 more neurons here. Okay, so this is a collection of neurons. Now these neurons are surrounded by connective tissue. Okay, for protecting, they are surrounded by connective tissue. So this blue color connective tissue surrounds the neurons. So individual neurons are surrounded by this blue color connective tissue. Okay, this blue color connective tissue will surround the individual neurons. Okay, now there is one more connective tissue, and this makes, so these are 9 neurons, this makes the neurons in bundles of 3. Okay, so this is the green connective tissue which is surrounding a bundle of neurons. Yes, so this green connective tissue surrounds the bundle of neurons. So how many bundles have I made now? There are 3 bundles of neurons, and all these bundles are covered together in one large connective tissue. So kids, when I say the connective tissue is there, so what does it mean? See this area, no? This area which is in between, this will also have this red tissue only. So all the gap which is there will also be filled with the same tissue to make it like a cylinder. Okay. So this gap is also by this red tissue. Similarly, whatever gaps are here, this will be by the green tissue. Okay. This gap will be filled by the green tissue. Did we understand what is going on here? So this structure is now a nerve. So can I say nerve is one bundle here in this example? It is one bundle of three bundles of neurons. So nerves are bundles of neurons. Nerve is a bundle of bundles of neurons. And the three connective tissues which help in the formation of a nerve. This is the outermost connective tissue present on the top. On the top, the prefix is epi. So this connective tissue present on the surface of the neuron is called epineurium. Neurium. Epineurium. And can I say epineurium is a connective tissue which forms the covering of a nerve. Forms the outer covering of a nerve. Epineurium. Then kids, this green connective tissue. This green connective tissue is surrounding a bundle. So we have given it a prefix which means surround. Peri, the prefix peri means surround. So this is called perineurium. Perineurium. Peri means around, neurium. So perineurium is the covering of bundles of neurons. Okay? Bundle. Bundle in Latin is also called fascicle. Fascicle means bundle. So perineurium is the covering of a bundle or a fascicle. And this blue covering, can I say, is the connective tissue which is inside the nerve. Outside is epineurium, then in the bundle is perineurium, uske andar. So this is called endoneurium. Endoneurium means it's a membrane inside the nerve, or can I say it forms the covering of axon. So it's a connective tissue which forms the covering of neuron within a nerve. It is a connective tissue which forms the covering of neuron within a nerve. Covering of neuron within a nerve. Endoneurium is the word. Endoneurium. Now, why have they been made in a bundle shape? Now, we know peripheral nervous system and autonomic nervous system would contain either sensory neurons or motor neurons, right? They will never contain intermediate neurons. So there is a logic for this also. All neurons in one bundle will have the same function. Means if in this bundle there is sensory neuron, then all the three in that bundle will be sensory. Okay. Now if this is motor, then all the three in this will be motor. Understood? This is sensory, then all three will be sensory. So based on this, we can have three types of nerves. We have three types of nerves. So what are these three types of nerves? सबसे पहले, one type of nerve is sensory nerve. What is sensory nerve? It contains only sensory neurons. So all neurons are sensory in a sensory nerve. Then we have a motor nerve. So what is a motor nerve? All neurons in a motor nerve are motor neurons. All neurons in a motor nerve are motor neurons. There is a third type of neuron, there is a third type of nerve which is called mixed nerve. And what will mixed nerve have? Mixed nerve will have sensory neuron as well as motor neuron. Very, very, very important. So neurons are of two types, sensory and motor. Nerves could be of three types, sensory, motor, or mixed. Sensory is when all are sensory neurons. Motor is when all are motor neurons. And mixed is the diagram that I did here. In one bundle there is sensory, in another bundle there is motor, in some other bundle there is sensory. Now the idea of bundling was this, Tagis, if there is sensory in one bundle and there is motor in another, the movement of electricity is in the opposite direction. Sensory will carry electricity towards the central nervous system. Motor will carry electricity away from the nervous system. So that's why they have been separated by a bundle so that there is no mixing of electricity here. Okay. So a neuron can be only sensory or motor, but a nerve may be sensory, motor, or mixed. So let's take the examples of nerves. We have 4 types of nerves, right? So first type of nerve is the cranial nerves. Now humans have 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Okay. In fact, 12 pairs of cranial nerves is found in RAM. RAM is how I remember the brain tags. R for reptiles, A for aves, M for mammals. Reptiles, birds, and mammals, all 3 of them, including humans, obviously we are mammals, will have 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Now, out of this 12 pairs, the first pair, the second pair, and the 8th pair of cranial nerves are purely sensory. That means all the neurons all the neurons in first, second, and 8th pair of cranial nerves is completely sensory. 12 pairs means yes, 24 nerves. 12 on the right side, 12 on the left. They will carry impulse to the brain. Then third, fourth, 6th, 11th, and 12th pair of cranial nerves, they are motor nerves. That means they will carry electrical impulse away from the brain. And bacha kya? 5th, 7th, 9th, and 10th pair of cranial nerves, they are mixed cranial nerves. So in cranial nerves, there are 12 pairs. 3 pairs are sensory. Yes, 5 pairs are motor, and 4 pairs are mixed. Okay, very, very important. Cranial nerves, which is sensory, which is motor, and which is mixed. Okay. Then we come to spinal nerves. Yes, spinal nerves are numbered based on where they are present. Okay. So they could be present in the neck, they could be present in the chest region, they could be present in the upper back region. Okay, they could be present in the lower back region, or they could be present in the tail region. Okay, the nerves which are present in the neck region are called cervical nerve. Cervix in Latin is neck. So uterus has a neck called cervix. The neck of a bottle is also called cervix. Cervix का मतलब होता है neck. So cervical nerves. In the chest region is also called thorax. So they are called thoracic nerves. The region of the upper back is called the lumbar region. So the nerves are called lumbar nerves. The region of the lower back near the buttocks is called sacrum. So that is why these nerves are called sacral nerves. And tail in Latin is called coccyx. So coccygeal nerves. So these literally translate to the region that they are in. So cervical nerves, thoracic nerves, lumbar nerves, sacral nerves, and coccygeal nerves. There are 8 pairs of cervical nerves. There are 12 pairs of thoracic nerves. There are 5 pairs of lumbar nerves. There are 5 pairs of sacral nerves, but there are only 1 pair of coccygeal nerve. So 5 plus 5, 10, 12 plus 8, 20, 20 plus 10, 30 plus 1. So there are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. And you know what's the best part? All of them are mixed. This is very, very important. That means all 31 pairs of spinal nerves, all 31 pairs of spinal nerves are mixed. Now, going back to our research questions, let's add some more research questions in this. You have to tell me about sympathetic nerves. So tell me sympathetic nerves, whether they are sensory, whether they are motor, or they are mixed. Or some parasympathetic nerves are sensory, some motor, some mixed. So you have to tell me whether they are sensory, motor, or mixed. And the same research question is also about parasympathetic nerves. So sympathetic nerves and parasympathetic nerves, that means nerves of the autonomic nervous system. You have to tell me whether they are sensory, motor, or mixed. So 5 research questions. All right. The general word for neck is cervical nerves. Neck means cervix. Okay. So neck of a bottle is also called cervix. Neck of uterus is also called cervix. Okay. Okay. So this is all about nervous tissue. Now we start with a new tissue. Okay. Now assignments about nervous tissue will be sent to you uh, through the staff. Nitin sir, are you here? Nitin sir? Anybody? Neil, Nilesh sir, Nitin sir, Rohit sir, anybody here? I will send the assignments to you about neurons. Okay, so get it sorted. Then we come to the next tissue, and that tissue is called the muscular tissue or muscle. Okay, so what do we already know about muscle? So the muscle tissue is derived from the middle layer of embryo. It is derived from the middle layer of embryo. What is the middle layer of embryo called, or the middle germ layer called? It's known as the mesoderm. Then muscular tissue is a tissue for contraction and relaxation. That means either a muscle is relaxing or it is contracting. Never both. Okay? Matlab you can't have a muscle which is neither contracting nor relaxing also. So either a muscle is contracting or it is relaxing. So when a muscle is not contracting, it is relaxing. This is what it means. That is why any kind of movement in our body will be brought about by muscle. And if the animal wants to move from one place to the other, locomotion can also happen in muscles. Also, we know this, that muscles are always effectors. What does that mean? That means they will always get a motor neuron for contraction. So that's one more point, that they need electrical impulse. Yes, effectors are muscles and glands. We've done this, right? Electrical impulse from motor neuron. Yes, electrical impulse from motor neuron has to reach the muscle for contraction. And that is why neuron and muscle should be studied together. Because if there is no neuron, muscle will not be able to contract. So electrical impulse from the motor neuron has to reach muscle for its contraction. So without electrical impulse, muscle will not contract. Now muscle comes from two words. Moose. Moose means mouse. Okay. And the prefix or the suffix skull means small. Okay. Now, can you in the chat section please write words that you think of ending with kull with their meaning? Okay. I'll give you one word. We have done this, synaptic vesicle. So vesicle would mean a small vessel. So think of words ending with kull and tell me its meaning. Like muscle is a small mouse. Yes? Come on, please participate. Muscle is a small mouse. Vesicle is a small vessel. Yes? What other words ending with the suffix skull come to your mind? So I've got one word, cubicle. Cubicle means small room. Absolutely correct. So like a cube, a small room like a cube. So it's called cubicle. I want words ending with kal. So cranial is not ending with CLE. Kal se nahi end hota hai. Okay, I'll give you a word. Have you heard of the word corpuscle? Yes. What does it mean? Corpuscle will mean small what? So now people are going to their computers, logging in, internet se dekh ke kuch bhi chipka rahe. Somebody wrote ventricle. Absolutely correct. Venter means stomach, belly. So ventricle means a small belly. So अपने heart के जो ventricles होते हैं छोटे वाले, they actually resemble small stomachs. That is why it was called ventricle. Very good. Then somebody has put epicuticle, पर उसका कोई मतलब नहीं डाला है. Okay. Cutin primarily means skin. Okay. Cuticle means a thin layer of skin or a small skin. Now, corpuscle, ये सुना है red blood corpuscle, white blood corpuscle, RBC, WBC. Corpus, किसी ने लिखा corpse. Corpse means dead body होता है. It comes from the Latin word corpus, which means body. तो corpuscle, okay, means a tiny body. So a tiny body, tiny red body in blood, red blood corpuscle. Tiny white body in blood, white blood corpuscle. एक और वर्ड शायद किया होगा आपने, नेफ्रॉन पढ़ा होगा 10th में, तो मैल्फीजियन corpuscle or Malpighian body. Yes. So that structure is a small area, right? So when people discovered this, they found that muscles resemble like a small mouse. Okay, so biceps अगर देखते हो तो यहाँ पे ऐसे एक small छोटा mouse आ रहा है, ऐसा लगता है, इसलिए उन्होंने उसका नाम muscle डाला था. अब मैं कुछ comments पढ़ रहा हूँ और लोगों ने, मैंने बोला word ending with skull तो डालते गए लोग. Now remember, we can only use this for words of Greek and Latin origin where we can break them up. So something interesting some people have written. Some people have written uncle. So what would uncle mean? Small un. Uncle cannot be broken down. It is one word in itself. Some people have written circle. Okay, it cannot be broken down. Yes, now some people have written icicle. Icicle, small piece of ice. Oracle, oracle का मतलब aurum मतलब होता है ear. Okay, so all these words are of Greek and Latin origin. Yeah, so whenever you have an unknown word which begins with, or Greek Latin word which ends with kal, now it means tiny. Yes, so muscle came from the word muskal. Mus means mouse and kal means small. Okay, now what is the study of muscles called? The study of muscles is called myology. So prefix myo means muscle. The study of muscle is also called sarcology. The prefix sarco means muscles. So myology and sarcology. Okay, myo and sarco. Now before we study muscle cells, we will study muscle as an organ. Okay, so based on their location, we have various types of muscles. Now some muscles, children, are attached to bones and cartilage. So basically they are attached to the internal framework of the body. Internal framework of the body is called skeleton. Because they are attached to bones or internal framework of the body, those muscles are called skeletal muscles. Then we have a second group of muscles which are present in the walls of internal organs. In the walls of internal organs. Right? So internal organs में जिधर movement होता है. Like the entire alimentary canal present in the stomach, small intestine, large intestine, also present in esophagus. ये हो गया. Blood vessels also can contract and relax. So present in the walls of blood vessels. Then ureters will carry urine. Yes, urinary bladder will also contract and release urine. So all these internal organs ka wall will also have, I'm just writing etc. These are just to give you an example. The walls of internal organs will also have muscles. These muscles are present internally. A word for internal in biology is viscera. So these muscles are called visceral muscles. Wherever you come across the word visceral, it means internal. The word visceral and internal mean the same. So word visceral means internal. Okay, so we have two kinds of muscles. The two kinds of muscles are skeletal muscles and visceral muscles. Skeletal muscles are muscles which are attached to the bone. Okay, and visceral muscles are those which are present in internal organs. Now, one internal organ has been separated from the rest, and that is the heart, because the structure of these muscles are slightly different. So cardiac muscles are muscles which are present in the walls of the heart. So wall of the heart is made up of muscles called cardiac muscles. Second point that we will do is what is the function, because they are located there, what is their function? So any kind of movement of the body which is needed. Okay, so if I want to raise my hand, lower it down, move like this, stretch, any movement, and any kind of movement of the entire animal, that is locomotion. So movement and locomotion, both of them are from skeletal muscle. So when animals need to move from one place to the other, that movement is also provided by, yeah, skeletal muscle. As we know, visceral is internal, inside. Okay, so visceral muscle का क्या function है? सारे इंटरनल ऑर्गन्स में जो मूवमेंट होता है उसको हम बोलते हैं पेरिस्टाल्सिस. सो पेरिस्टाल्सिस इज एक्चुअली अ वेव ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्शन. ओके, सो क्या ये पेरिस्टाल्सिस या वेव ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्शन, सपोज एक ट्यूब है ना, और उस ट्यूब में से हम लोग डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम का ही बात करते हैं, उसमें खाना इधर है, ये खाना है ना. अगर खाने को आगे पुश करना है तो क्या करना पड़ेगा? खाने से जस्ट पहले मसल को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करना पड़ेगा. सो जब खाना इधर है सपोज, और उसके जस्ट पहले कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया तो खाना पुश हो जाएगा आगे. सो खाना अभी पुश होके यहाँ पे आ गया. ओके, सो द फूड इज पुश्ड फॉरवर्ड एंड नाउ इट हैज कम हियर. नाउ द मोमेंट इट इज पुश्ड फॉरवर्ड, अब क्या होना चाहिए? पहला एरिया रिलैक्स होना चाहिए और ये दूसरा एरिया यहाँ पे कॉन्ट्रैक्शन आना चाहिए. सो पूरे में कैसे मूव करेगा? इधर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होगा, फूड आगे जाएगा, फिर ये रिलैक्स हुआ, ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ, फूड आगे जाएगा, फिर ये रिलैक्स हुआ, फिर ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ, फूड आगे जाएगा. ऐसे फूड आगे जाते जाएगा. इतना समझा? सो दैट इज व्हाई अगर मैं पूरा ट्यूब देखूं तो कॉन्ट्रैक्शन रिलैक्सेशन, फिर कॉन्ट्रैक्शन रिलैक्सेशन, फिर कॉन्ट्रैक्शन रिलैक्सेशन, दैट्स कॉल्ड अ वेव ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्शन और पेरिस्टाल्सिस. सो विसरल मसल्स का काम है वेव ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्शन और पेरिस्टाल्सिस. Cardiac muscles will contract and relax. Cardiac muscles will contract and relax, and they will basically pump blood to various organs. So they will pump blood to various organs. ठीक है? So they pump blood to various organs. Clear with this? Now this process has been given a special name. The contraction of heart is called systole. Actually the correct pronunciation is systole, but इंडिया में अगर हम बहुत ज्यादा करेक्ट प्रोनाउंसिएशन करेंगे तो लोगों को बात समझ में भी नहीं आती है. So the contraction of heart is called systole, but we will call it systole. Relaxation of the heart is called diastole or diastole. So by systole and diastole, that is contraction and relaxation, it will pump blood to various organs. That's the function of skeletal of cardiac muscles. So three types of muscles, children: skeletal muscle, visceral muscle, and cardiac muscle. Skeletal muscles are attached to the bones. Visceral muscles are present in the wall of internal organs or visceral organs. Cardiac muscles are in the walls of the heart. Next, we need to understand control. When I say control, means are they under the control of my willpower? Now, children, skeletal muscles are voluntary. What is the meaning of the word voluntary? They are under the control of willpower. So they are under the control of my will. Nobody can raise my hand if I don't like it. Yeah, so if I want that my hand should not be raised, it will not be raised. It's under the control of my willpower. What about visceral and cardiac muscles? Both visceral and cardiac muscles are involuntary. What is the meaning of the word involuntary? They are not under our control. So hunger is not under your control. When you eat food, digestion of food, peristalsis in the digestive system, churning of food by the stomach, all this is not under your control. That is why we say it is involuntary. Then the next one is called innervation. Innervation means what are the nerves which are given? What nerves? So we had skeletal muscle. I'm just writing skeletal. Then there is visceral muscle. And then there is cardiac muscle. Yes? Skeletal muscles are innervated by nerves of cranial and spinal nerves, peripheral nervous system. That is why they are voluntary. Visceral muscles and cardiac muscles are innervated by autonomic nervous system. That is why they are involuntary. Okay. Then the next thing is about fatigability. Now fatigue means getting tired. Okay. And that generally happens due to the accumulation of lactic acid. So when there is accumulation of lactic acid, the muscle will get tired. Sudden accumulation of lactic acid is also called a muscle cramp. Sudden accumulation of lactic acid is also called, yes, as somebody from Seawoods rightly said, it's also called, yeah. Now, skeletal muscles, children, will get easily fatigued. Means skeletal muscles will get tired easily. That is why अगर आप exercise करोगे, थोड़ा ये करोगे, आपको muscle cramp develop होने का chance ज़्यादा है. Visceral muscles will also get fatigued, but they are less easily fatigued. Less easily fatigued matlab, I mean, if we eat 4 or 5 hours tak food, 4 hours tak food is in the stomach, the stomach will keep on churning and peristalsis and churning. The stomach doesn't get tired so easily. Okay, but it might get tired, but the endurance of those muscles is more. And cardiac muscle is important. Cardiac muscle never, ever, ever, ever undergoes fatigue. That means in cardiac muscles, there is no accumulation of lactic acid. So cardiac muscle will never undergo fatigue. Yeah. So some people immediately ask, heart attack. Heart attack is not because cardiac muscles don't undergo fatigue. Cardiac muscles, when they don't get blood, they will die. That's called heart attack. Okay. They never undergo fatigue. They never get tired. There's no accumulation of lactic acid here. Now we can explain that with the concept of muscle twitch. Now what is muscle twitch? Muscle twitch is a single muscle contraction. Muscle twitch is a single muscle contraction. So if I have to plot a graph here, yes, here it is the tension in the muscle or pressure in the muscle, and this is time. I'm going to get a graph like this. Okay. Now what is this graph? Here the tension is increasing. That means this is an upward going graph called contraction. This is a downward going graph called relaxation. This peak point is where contraction is maximum. So if I draw a vertical line downwards like this, then I am going to get two parts, part 1 and part 2. Okay, part 1 and part 2. Yes, this part 1 is contraction time. Part 1 is contraction time, this is relaxation time. In skeletal muscle, contraction time and relaxation time are roughly equal. If I draw the same graph of a visceral muscle, this is how it will be seen. So this is contraction time and this is relaxation time. So here the relaxation time is greater than contraction time. That means वो पहले उसको relax होने देता है, फिर ही नया contraction begin करता है. In cardiac muscle, the graph is somewhat like this. So this is contraction time and this is relaxation time. Means the relaxation time in cardiac muscle is much greater than contraction time. This simply means that because they are taking a lot of time to relax, cardiac muscles out of all the three will be the slowest. है ना, एक मसल कॉन्ट्रैक्शन को सबसे कम टाइम लगता है स्केलेटल मसल्स में. तो स्केलेटल मसल इन टर्म्स ऑफ स्पीड, skeletal muscles are the fastest to react. Cardiac muscles will be the slowest, and this will have intermediate speed of contraction. Understood with this? So this is on the single muscle twitch. And if you see that in cardiac muscles, the relaxation time is much more. Now, greater the relaxation time, less is the chance of fatigue. Also in cardiac muscles, lactic acid is never formed. So cardiac muscles will never undergo the phenomenon of fatigue. Okay. Next, skeletal muscles. So the three muscles will have cells in them. So skeletal muscle, again visceral muscle and cardiac muscle. Each of them will be made up of cells. Now cells of these muscles are thin and long. Okay, they are thin and long. Okay? Because they are thin and long, they are called fibers because they look like a thread. Remember, neuron was also called a fiber. So skeletal muscle was called skeletal muscle fiber. So skeletal muscle fiber is the cell of skeletal muscle. This is visceral muscle fiber, and this will be called cardiac muscle fiber. Now when I look at the cell, the skeletal muscle is like this. Visceral muscles are like this, and cardiac muscle cell is like this. So all three of them, so what are the properties? All three of them are thin and elongated. This is also thin and elongated. This is also thin and elongated. But if you look at the ends, they are not pointed here. So they will have thin elongated with blunt ends. They are thin elongated with pointed ends. These are thin elongated with blunt ends. Can you tell me the scientific name of the shape with pointed ends? Come on, we have done that in neurons. The scientific name of the shape with blunt ends. I've got two answers. What about the others? What is the scientific word? I've got three correct answers. One from Seawood, one from Thane, one from Panvel. No, pointed ends is never called cylinder. Right. So, scientific name, great. Except for one, everybody has given the correct answer. The scientific word is spindle shape or fusiform. Spindle shape or fusiform. Okay. Thin, elongated, blunt ends. Pointed ends and blunt ends. Okay. Now, this will have a nucleus in the center. This will also have a nucleus in the center. So this is normally single, central, circular or oval nucleus. So this has what? Single central circular nucleus. I can say even the cardiac muscles have single central circular nucleus. Single central circular nucleus. Okay. But when I look at skeletal muscle children, there in one cell, there are multiple nuclei like this. And they are not in the center of the cell. Normally, हमने जितने भी cells पढ़े हैं, वहाँ सब पे nucleus center में होता है. So यहाँ पे क्या property है? The nuclei are not single, but they are multiple. They are not in the center of the cell, but towards the periphery. So they are multiple. Then they are peripheral. Then they are rod shaped. And one cell does not have nucleus, but one cell has nuclei. One cell will have nuclei. Very important scientific word again. Multinucleated cells. इसका scientific word है when there are multiple nuclei in a cell, the condition is called xenocytic condition. Xenocytic nuclei or xenocytic condition. Xeno here means new. So evolution में cells with one nucleus old है, cells with multiple nuclei नए हैं. Some people say ऐसा नहीं होता है. शायद एक skeletal muscle cell है ना, पहले छोटे छोटे cells रहे होंगे जो मिलके एक बड़ा cell बना दिए. That is why there is one more word, syncytial. Okay, syncytial condition और syncytial nuclei. Syn का मतलब होता है fuse. So skeletal muscles will have sinocytic or syncytial condition, or sinocytic or syncytial nuclei, which means a multi-nucleated structure. Okay. Now, when I observe the skeletal muscle, at regular intervals, it shows. So I'm having a small problem while drawing on the digital but you all draw it at regular intervals. So this cell at regular intervals shows light and dark regions. Okay. Now light and dark regions are also called striae. Light and dark regions are also called striae. Striae का मतलब होता है streak. So skeletal muscle fibers show stria, alternate light and dark regions. They should be uniform in thickness. मेरा सही नहीं बना है. आप लोग proper uniform thickness के light and dark regions बनाएंगे. Okay. Hence, skeletal muscles, children, are called striated muscles. Very, very important. Because the cells show striations, even the muscles will show striations. So skeletal muscles are also called striated muscles. Yes. In visceral muscles, there are no striations. So visceral muscles are called smooth muscles. No striations. Sometimes they're also called non-striated, also called non-striped muscles. Cardiac muscle cells, children, will have striations, but they are not as solid as skeletal muscles. So we say that they have faint striations. They have faint striations. Now remember, whenever we say the word striated muscles, they always mean skeletal muscle. ज़्यादा दिमाग मत लगाना. Cardiac muscles show faint striations, but they don't have, they're not called striated muscles. So in your book, write down this. So this and this is a muscle called A. This and this is a muscle called B. This and this is a muscle called C. And this is a muscle called D. First, write this in your book and then tell me what is A, B, C, and D. Come on, do that. Please write down all 4 answers and only then press enter. Two more minutes to complete the activity. अरे भाई, A is voluntary striated. कुछ लोगों ने आंसर क्या लिखा है? A is voluntary striated. Obviously, voluntary and striated कौन से टाइप का मसल है? ये तो मैंने ही जोड़ के दिया ना. A is voluntary striated. I'm waiting for answers. I've got complete answer from one person, waiting for others. We are 25, 23, 24 people on this group. If others are sleeping, I will remove them from this group then. I've got 2 answers. Last 1 minute. If I don't get answers from people, I'm going to really remove them and not allow them for the next class. Okay, so look at this answer now. A is voluntary and striated. So voluntary and striated A is skeletal muscles, because only skeletal muscles are voluntary. Then C is what? Involuntary and striated. Involuntary and striated are cardiac muscles. D is involuntary and non-striated. Involuntary and non-striated are visceral muscles. Now some people have given me an answer for B, okay, which I have not even taught them. तो अगर आपको B का आंसर मिला है, जिन लोगों ने भी मुझे B का आंसर दिया, बहुत सारे लोगों ने दिया है, ओके, एक्सेप्ट फॉर 2 या 3 लोगों ने जिन्होंने लिखा है सर आई डोंट नो, वो 3 लोगों को छोड़ के बाकी सब लोग प्लीज अपना अपना एक नाम का एक लेटर लिखिए एंड नोबेल कमिटी को फॉरवर्ड करिए, बिकॉज आप सबको एक नोबेल प्राइज मिलना चाहिए, बिकॉज बी जैसा मसल कोई एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता है और आपने वो नया कैटेगरी ऑफ मसल डिस्कवर किया है, सो डेफिनेटली वर्थ अ नोबेल प्राइज. नाउ बी, voluntary and non-striated. वॉलेंट्री एंड नॉन स्ट्राइटेड करके कोई भी मसल नहीं होता है, पर फिर भी मैंने इधर क्यों डाला, बिकॉज नीट में बहुत बार चौथा ऑप्शन नन ऑफ दीज भी होता है. सो क्वेश्चन ऐसे आ सकता है, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग मसल्स आर वॉलेंट्री एंड नॉन स्ट्राइटेड, या वॉलेंट्री एंड नॉन स्ट्राइटेड, स्केलेटल मसल, कार्डियक मसल, विसरल मसल और नन ऑफ दीज. सो वैसे आंसर में होगा none of these. So voluntary and non-striated muscles do not exist. इतना समझा? If you have any query, don't raise your hand, write it in the chat box directly, please. I can read everything. All right. So now let's look at the skeletal muscle cell. Okay. So skeletal muscle cell is thin, elongated. It's going to have rod shaped nuclei towards the periphery. Yes. They are going to be striated. Yeah, D could. Visceral muscles and smooth muscles are the same. Striated muscles and skeletal muscle are the same. Okay. Somebody asked me. Okay, so somebody has told me, asked me a question. It reads like this. Sir, but if C is cardiac, means we considered cardiac as striated. But you said we have to consider cardiac as non-striated. Now you can check the recording anywhere because it will be recorded, no? Nowhere have I said that cardiac should be considered as non-striated. What I mean to say is that suppose there is a word given striated muscle. Suppose ऐसा लिखा है striated muscle. Like what are the properties of striated muscle? Now अब तुम दिमाग लगाओगे, दो striated muscles है, एक skeletal भी striated है और cardiac भी striated है. Now जब भी word striated muscle आएगा, it always means skeletal muscle. That doesn't mean cardiac muscle does not have striations. Cardiac muscles has faint striations, but cardiac muscles को synonymously हम striated muscle नहीं बोलते. That is what I meant. Okay, striated muscle means skeletal muscles. Okay बच्चे, चलो. Good you ask that question because ये भी एक thought process हो सकता है लोगों का, and I just clarified. The word striated muscle means skeletal muscle. Now children, this striated muscle has a cell membrane. The cell membrane is also called plasma membrane. You remember that in our earlier classes? It's also called plasma lemma. वहाँ पे membrane around the neuron was called neurilemma. यहाँ पे it's called sarcolemma. What is sarcolemma? It is a membrane around the muscle cell. Then it will also have fluids. The fluid is called cytoplasm. Cytoplasm of muscle is called sarcoplasm. Sarco also means muscle. Yes. So sarcolemma is the membrane and sarcoplasm is the fluid. Then it will also have cell organelles called endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum, children, will also be called sarcoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum in muscle is called sarcoplasmic reticulum. One important point about sarcoplasmic reticulum that you have to understand, that it is a storehouse of calcium ions. And second, it releases calcium ions when electrical impulse reaches it. When it gets electricity, it will release calcium ions. Now, I hope you remember what is endoplasmic reticulum. Nucleus होता है, उसके surrounding nuclear membrane होता है, उससे एक fold निकलता है जो cell membrane के end तक जाता है, उसको हम बोलते हैं endoplasmic reticulum. Muscle में उसको हम बोलते हैं sarcoplasmic reticulum. Now, skeletal muscle में there are lots of mitochondria because it needs a lot of energy. In fact, mitochondria were first discovered in skeletal muscles only. Yes, mitochondria were first discovered by a gentleman called Kolliker, Kolliker. And he did that in the flight muscles of birds. Flight muscles means muscles which help them to fly. That means they are skeletal muscles. In fact, when Kolliker discovered these mitochondria, उसको लगा कि ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ मसल्स में मिलता है और किधर नहीं मिलता है. इसीलिए Kolliker had named mitochondria as sarcosomes. Sarco means muscle, soma means body, som means body, है ना? Soma, cell body. So old name of mitochondria was sarcosomes. We don't use it anymore. Okay. So I'm giving you a lot of research questions for the next class. Research questions जो हमने लिखे थे उसमें लिस्ट लिख लो. Next class आपके आईडी से ये पांचों क्वेश्चन का आंसर पहले आप चैट बॉक्स में लिखोगे. अगर आपके आईडी से मुझे ये आंसर नहीं मिले तो मैं आपको रिमूव कर दूंगा. So everybody who's a part of this, before we start the lecture, मेरे से बिना पूछे, मेरे से बिना बोले, जैसे ही मेरा शक्ल आपको दिखेगा, जैसे ही मैं होस्ट बन जाऊंगा, मैं क्लास चालू कर दूंगा. आप चैट बॉक्स में 1 2 3 4 5 और मैं जो सेंटेंसेस लिख रहा हूं उन सब के आंसर्स लिख देंगे. जो भी आईडी से वो आंसर्स नहीं लिखे हुए होंगे मैं उनको डायरेक्टली रिमूव कर दूंगा. आई एम टेलिंग यू राइट नाउ ओनली. ओके, नाउ यू हैव टू टेल मी how does sarcoplasmic reticulum, okay, how does sarcoplasmic reticulum differ in skeletal, visceral and cardiac muscles? समझा क्या बोल रहा हूं मैं? जैसे हम डिफरेंशिएटिंग कॉलम बना रहे हैं ना, तो यू हैव टू टेल मी कि how does sarcoplasmic reticulum differs in the three. Also you have to tell me how does sarcolemma differ in the three. So what is the difference in the sarcolemma of skeletal muscle, visceral muscle and cardiac muscles? Okay. So a quick recap of whatever we have done till now. So we started our discussion. Yeah, so we will stop here for today's class, but we'll just quickly revise what we have done. And then I will take your doubts so that we can finish it by 6:30. Yeah, it's 15 minutes. It'll take about 5-7 minutes, 10 minutes for the revision also. So we started with the concept of neurotransmitter. We said neurotransmitter is produced in the cyton. It'll have synaptic vesicles and then it'll migrate to the axon terminal. Enzymes destroying the neurotransmitter are cholinesterase for acetylcholine and monoamine oxidase for adrenaline. Both of them are produced in the cyton. They are also forming vacuoles and they will also migrate to the axon terminal. Then we had two types of neurotransmitters called excitatory neurotransmitters and inhibitory neurotransmitters. Excitatory neurotransmitters will allow the impulse to pass through a synapse, whereas inhibitory neurotransmitter will prevent the impulse from passing through the synapse. How does the excitatory neurotransmitter do that? Once the neurotransmitter sticks to the receptors, it will open the sodium channels, causing depolarization. So the moment one point is depolarized, the next point will get depolarized because of this. Then the next point will get depolarized and the depolarization wave will pass through. But inhibitory neurotransmitters open chloride ions channels. When chloride channels are open, chloride enters and the membrane, instead of becoming positive, will now become negative. So it will go beyond minus 70 millivolts. The most common neurotransmitters are excitatory neurotransmitters. Inhibitory are not that common. Excitatory neurotransmitters का example is acetylcholine and adrenaline. Inhibitory neurotransmitters का example है GABA, that is gamma aminobutyric acid, glycine and dopamine. There are many, but these three are important for your yeah. Then we also studied the concept of electrical synapses and electrochemical synapses. Electrical synapses are those synapses in which the presynaptic and postsynaptic membrane are similar and there is no gap. They are touching each other. In electrochemical synapse, the presynaptic and postsynaptic membrane are different and they have a gap in between called synaptic cleft. The electrical transmission in electrochemical synapse is unidirectional, while that in electrical synapse is bidirectional. In electrical synapse, there is no synaptic delay or no synaptic fatigue. Synaptic delay is the time taken for electricity to move from axon to dendron or presynaptic to postsynaptic terminal. Synaptic delay will occur in electrochemical synapse because it has to generate neurotransmitter. Also, if there are multiple stimuli given over a short period of time, in every stimulus there is no mixing of impulse. So in every stimulus, a new batch of neurotransmitters will be released. When a new batch of neurotransmitters is released at a very fast rate, the neurotransmitters in the synaptic bulb may be used up. When they are used up, that phenomenon is called synaptic fatigue, where a new electrical impulse cannot stimulate the synapse. Now, because electrical synapses have a mixing of impulses, that is why electrical synapses are extremely rare and electrochemical synapses are perfectly common. Then we also did the concept of a nerve. Nerve is a collection of neurons. We find nerves only in PNS, that is peripheral nervous system and autonomic nervous system. The nerves of peripheral nervous system are cranial nerves and spinal nerves. The nerves of autonomic nervous system are sympathetic nerves and parasympathetic nerves. Now, nerve is actually a bundle of neurons. So, the outermost covering of the nerve, that is the entire collection, is called epineurium. It is made up of connective tissue. Then the covering which forms a bundle or fascicle is called perineurium. And finally, the covering which surrounds the neuron is called endoneurium. They are all connective tissue coverings which help in the formation of neurons, which helps in the formation of a nerve. Now, the rule is in one bundle, only one type of neuron can be present. So, in one bundle, if there is one sensory neuron, then all of them will be sensory neuron. But neurons in two different bundles can be different. So, based on that, we have three types of nerves: a sensory nerve, a motor nerve, and mixed nerve. A sensory nerve is a nerve which has all sensory neurons only. A motor nerve is a nerve which has only motor neurons. And mixed nerve is a nerve which has sensory neuron as well as motor neuron. Neurons can never be mixed, but nerves can be mixed. We have 12 pairs of cranial nerves. 12 pairs of cranial nerves were also found in reptiles, birds, and mammals. The 12 pairs of cranial nerves are 1, 1st, 2nd, and 8th are sensory. 3rd, 4th, 6th, 11th, and 12th are motor. 5th, 7th, 9th, and 10th are mixed. So 3 pairs of cranial nerves are sensory, 4 pairs of cranial nerves are mixed, and 5 pairs of cranial nerves are motor. However, there are 31 pairs of spinal nerves which have been labeled based on the location of the area that they enter. Cervical nerves are present in the neck, thoracic nerve. Cervical nerves 8 pairs present in the neck, thoracic nerve 12 pairs present in the chest, lumbar nerves 5 pairs present in the upper back, sacral nerves 5 pairs present in the lower back, coccygeal nerve 1 pair present in the tail. All of these nerves are mixed nerves. All of them are mixed nerves. Then that was the last part of neuron. Then we started with the next tissue called muscular tissue. Muscle comes from two words, mus, which means mouse, and kal means small. Muscle, small mouse. Muscles are derived from the middle germ layer or middle layer of embryo, which is called mesoderm. The function of muscle is contraction and relaxation. When a muscle is not contracting, it is relaxing. When a muscle is not relaxing, it is contracting. Muscles are for movement and locomotion. Muscles form effectors in the response cycle. That means muscles will always receive electrical impulse from a motor neuron and only then it will contract. If it does not receive electrical impulse from a motor neuron, it will not contract. The study of muscle is called myology or sarcology. Okay. Now, based on where muscles are present, we have three types of muscles: skeletal, visceral, and cardiac muscles. Skeletal muscles are muscles which are attached to the bones or skeleton. That's why they are called skeletal muscles. Visceral muscles are muscles which are present in the walls of internal organs. Okay, internal means viscera, that is why it's called visceral muscle. Cardiac muscle is present in the walls of the heart. Skeletal muscles help in movement and locomotion. Visceral muscles perform peristalsis, which is a wave of contraction which pushes food or substances in that tube forward. Cardiac muscles will pump blood to various organs. The entire contraction of heart is called systole and the relaxation of the heart is called diastole. Skeletal muscles are under the control of willpower, or we say that they are voluntary. Visceral muscles and cardiac muscles are not under the control of willpower, so we say they are involuntary. Skeletal muscles will receive nerves from peripheral nervous system, or we can say skeletal muscles will have an innervation of peripheral nervous system. Visceral muscles and cardiac muscles are involuntary because they receive innervation from autonomic nervous system. Now, skeletal muscles will get easily fatigued. That means it will get easily tired. Fatigue is a phenomenon due to accumulation of lactic acid, also called cramps. Then, visceral muscles are fatigued less easily, and cardiac muscles will never undergo fatigue. They will never have any accumulation of lactic acid. Then we have muscle twitch. A single muscle contraction is called a muscle twitch. If I draw a graph of a muscle twitch with time on the x-axis and tension or pressure in the y-axis, I will get a curve in the shape of a bell-shaped curve. The first part is called contraction and the second part is called relaxation. In skeletal muscle, contraction time is equal to relaxation time. In visceral muscles, the relaxation time is slightly higher than contraction time. And in cardiac muscles, the relaxation time is much, much higher than contraction time. So a single muscle twitch will be the longest in cardiac muscles and the shortest in skeletal muscles. So because it takes shorter time to contract, skeletal muscles will be fastest in terms of response, cardiac muscles will be slowest in terms of the rate, and intermediate will be visceral muscles. Next, the skeletal muscles, visceral muscles, and cardiac muscles are all made up of cells, and all their cells will be thin, elongated like a thread. And that is why they are called muscle fibers. A skeletal muscle fiber will have thin, elongated cells with blunt ends and multiple peripheral rod-shaped nuclei. This multinucleated condition is called sinusitic condition or syncytial condition. Because the skeletal muscle fibers also show light and dark bands, we call them stria, means stripes. Hence, skeletal muscles are called striated muscles. A visceral muscle fiber will also be thin, elongated. It will be made up of thin, elongated, pointed ends, a single central circular nucleus, and this visceral muscle will not show any kind of striations. So visceral muscles are also called smooth muscles. They also have faint, they are also called non-striated muscles. Cardiac muscles will show faint striations. Even though they show faint striations, they are not called striated muscles. Means whenever I use the word striated muscles, it means skeletal muscles. Now, cardiac muscles have thin, elongated, blunt ends, single central nucleus, but it has one important property, and that important property is that the cardiac muscle is branched. So it shows like 2 branches. We'll come to it in the next class. Also, when we started studying skeletal muscle is skeletal muscle has a membrane around it called sarcolemma. The cytoplasm is called sarcoplasm. The endoplasmic reticulum is called sarcoplasmic reticulum, which is a storehouse of calcium. It releases calcium when electricity passes through it. Also, it will have lots of mitochondria. Mitochondria was first discovered by Colliker in the flight muscles or skeletal muscles of birds. Initially, he thought that this is found only and only in skeletal muscles. That is why he called it as sarcosomes. Yeah. So, kids, those research questions, again, just telling you those research questions. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 3 and 3, 6 and 1, 7 research questions. Please do it. And also I will give you assignments about neuron. Those who have sat for all the lectures of neuron, you can do those assignments. In case you have any queries, you can just type. So one person is typed, what will happen if there is mixing of impulses? Why is it harmful? Harmful is when if 2 impulses, suppose I have one pinprick, okay? So I feel one pinprick and I will try to remove it. Now if I have 3 or 4 pinpricks and those 4 pinpricks ka impulses are mixed and I will, my brain only feels one prick, तो क्या होगा? 4 prick के वजह से मेरे बॉडी में डैमेज हो चुका होगा, पर मुझे सिर्फ एक ही prick फील हो रहा है. Yes, so it could be done. All right, so that's the damage. Then somebody is asking me, can you repeat question number 4 and 5? I'm sorry if you were sleeping in the class. I have already displayed the questions. I will also send the recording. You can check and verify. Next, why do enzymes destroy neurotransmitter? If the same neurotransmitter is kept, there will be mixing of impulses because एक दूसरा impulse आया तो वही neurotransmitter है. तो अपने ब्रेन को क्या लगेगा कि शायद वही इम्पल्स दोबारा आने के बजाय, मतलब वही इम्पल्स है, दूसरा इम्पल्स आया वो पता ही नहीं चलेगा. दूसरा इम्पल्स के लिए दूसरा न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर निकल के रिसेप्टर पे चिपकना है, तो ये रिसेप्टर तो खाली होना चाहिए. सो दैट इज व्हाई ओल्ड न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर डिस्ट्रॉय होगा, तब न्यू न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर आएगा. दैट इज व्हाई एंजाइम्स विल डिस्ट्रॉय न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर आफ्टर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इज पास. देन व्हाट इज फ्लाइट मसल? फ्लाइट का मतलब होता है उड़ना. So Colliker discovered this in flight muscles of birds. So birds उड़ते हैं. Now birds में उड़ने के लिए skeletal उनका जो मसल है वो उनके बोन पे अटैच होगा, तभी वो उड़ पाएंगे. Yeah. So flight muscle is a type of skeletal muscle. Like muscle in my arm, biceps is a type of skeletal muscle. But triceps is a type of skeletal muscle. All muscles in my hand, legs which are attached to bones, they are all types of skeletal muscle. Similarly, flight muscles are also skeletal muscles because they help the birds to fly, and flying is voluntary. Electrical synapse has no axon and no dendron. Now, axon and dendron are parts of, axon and dendrons are part of neuron. Synapse is a junction between 2 neurons. Okay, axon and dendron matlab dono ends. Also, I have given you a research question, research about electrical synapse. Okay, no axon dendron matlab dono ends अलग अलग नहीं दिखते हैं, structurally दोनों similar होते हैं. मतलब कहीं एक से न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर निकल के दूसरे में नहीं जा रहा है, दोनों टच हो रहे हैं. Post and presynaptic terminal, I never said it is same, it is similar. Okay, that means they touch each other. An electrical impulse can pass in a similar fashion by depolarization, repolarization. Next, how is the enzyme which destroys neurotransmitter removed? अब लोगों ने ज्यादा ज्ञान और ज्यादा सोचने लग गए. अगर आपको स्कूल में कभी पढ़ाया होगा एंजाइम्स और बायोकैटलिस्ट, एंड एंजाइम will enter the reaction and come out of the reaction without undergoing change in itself. Okay, so once the enzyme destroys, once the enzyme breaks down neurotransmitter, it will go in the extracellular fluid. Okay, it will diffuse, and once it becomes useless, it will be destroyed. Okay. Any other queries, anyone? No one? Okay, kids. See you on Sunday. Please take care of your health. Be safe. Happy learning. God bless you. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye. Take care.